Alright guys, we are super up close and personal because we are going to be doing an eyeshadow tutorial today. In my BoxyCharm unboxing, I didn't give the Alamar Reina del Caribe palette such a great review because the first time I wore this, it seriously creased on me, which I do have creasing issues a lot of the time with eyeshadows in general, just in this inner crease area. So today I wanted to give it another try with you guys, and I'm going to be pulling out my trusty eyeshadow primer, the Urban Decay Primer Potion. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that, and you need just a very, very tiny amount of this. So I'm using about that much. Now the Alamar palette is brand new. It just released. It's actually the first product that the brand has come out with, is the Reina del Caribe palette. It is Cuban inspired. There are 8 shadows in the palette, which I'm going to be giving you guys a close-up view of that, as well as I will insert a picture of swatches. But as you all know, swatches only tell half of the story. What really matters is how they apply on the eyes. Now, every time that I apply a primer to my eyelids, I like to blend it out with a brush. And today I'm using the Luxie 245 brush. It's just a double-ended brush here. I like to use this one to set underneath my eyes. It's a little too dense of a crease brush for me because when I'm applying something in the crease, generally I like to blend it out very well, and this, I'm not a fan of it in my actual crease. For setting under the eyes though, it is fantastic. And then this is just a large shader side, and that is always the side I use to blend out any primer that I am using. So I've said it once, and you're probably going to hear me say it multiple times. I love Luxie brushes. I absolutely love them. Now I'm going to go in with a tried and true Wet n Wild single eyeshadow in Creme Brulee. Anytime in a palette I don't have a nice neutral matte shade to set my eyeshadow primer with, this is the one that I pull for. And this will run you, it'll run you, it's like 99 cents most places. I think the most I've ever seen this is $1.48. So it's very reasonably priced and it's fantastic. So for me, it's basically my skin color, and it just sets that primer down so that whenever you put the other shadows on top, it will just blend more nicely. And again, I'm just using that large shader brush. I just flipped it over and I'm using the other side. Okay, so now we are set. Now I'm going to give you a close-up look of the shadows in this palette, and the creator, I think, was ingenious the way that she created it. So this is the top row. These are the ones that I would kind of consider for your very inner corner. This one is actually like a olive green, like a very, very light olivey green shade. That one is beautiful, and it really surprised me. This one is a perfect, like, very champagne shade. And you see the little water droplets beside those? That means that you can use those wet. Now, I have done a look with these two shades, and they are fantastic, pigmented, exactly like you would expect. Now, these, you see how it has the sunshine? That means you need to use these dry. So I just really love how they specified that in this palette. Alright, now we are going to start playing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up that yellow shade, which if I was doing a look with this palette, that is basically the shade I would always start with. So I'm going to take my Bean Gaches smudge brush. I mentioned this in my favorites. I use this brush all the time. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to fluff this all in the crease. And you can tell how pigmented these shades are. The quality on these is just insane. And I will say, before I did this tutorial, I have used this palette again using this eyeshadow primer, and it made such a difference. I actually used the blues in the last video that I posted, actually, and they were stunning. I actually used them dry as well, and the color payoff, it was exactly like they are in the palette. So phenomenal. A lot of the times you can get that same color, but you have to use them wet. These you do not. You can use your brush wet or dry and the color still comes off the same. Now if you didn't want to go for such a loud look, you could obviously just pop that on the lower lash line, and that would be another awesome way to bring in those colors. Alright, so I have that on. Now I'm going to take this same color and I'm going to put it basically on my eyelid as well. I'm not going to bring it into the very inner corner, but basically like the 2/3 of my lid. I'm going to use this shade and just kind of blend it all over, just avoiding that very inner area. I'm going to do kind of a smoky, an orangish brown smoky look today because I do have on an orange shirt and I just think it would look nice. And I always love things that are very blended. I just think it makes the look so much better. In general, you just really should take your time blending the shadows out. Now I'm not going to sit here for like 10-15 minutes because these shadows don't call for that. They blend out very nicely on their own. Ugh, these are so pretty. And I love these like mustardy shades. I just think they're so beautiful. Alright, so this is where we're at right now. Now I'm actually going to take my Anastasia brush that just came out of one of my palettes. These are fantastic brushes to use and to hold on to. So I'm going to take the fluffy side of this and I'm going to dip into that orange shade. That one's a little powdery, I will say, Tropico, so I am going to just dust that off. And I'm going to apply that over where I applied that yellow shade, just not as far in. I'm going to kind of try to keep that a little bit more back. And I mean, look at how pigmented these shades are. Like, I cannot get over it. So pretty. Okay, I am going to take my Inspire 282 Eye Fluff brush, and I love this one because it is fluffy and a blending brush, but it's just smaller, so I really like it for detailed work. Alright, I'm going to take this and right over these edges here where that orange is, I'm just going to apply some more of that yellow shade because that is really what I want to blend into our skin. And that just immediately softens the look. I love that technique. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here. Guys, this palette is so affordable as well for the quality that you're getting. So you're getting 8 quality shades and this palette is $28. and these would last you a very, very long time. I don't think I have ever completely went through a shade on one of my palettes. You guys will have to let me know if you have. I'd be interested to know. Okay, and then just right where those colors come together, I want this to be more prominent on my lid because I feel like we kind of lost a little bit of that when we put the orange on. So right where those two colors come together, I'm going to take that yellow and I'm going to apply a little bit more of that just to bring that yellow back to our lid, as well as just blend those two colors together. And I really love watching eyeshadow tutorials because everyone does their shadow differently, and I just think it's so interesting to watch different people's techniques. And every once in a while, you know, I'll pick up something new that I think is interesting. Okay. Yes. They're just blending seamlessly together, guys. So seamlessly. Yes. Okay, I'm going to, and if you're wondering why I keep looking down, I have just a washcloth, a dry washcloth down here in front of me, and I don't wash my brushes every day. I actually wash them probably once every 2 weeks. I have a huge bag of brushes actually under my sink, and those are all cleaned, prepped, ready to go in case I get lazy and decide not to wash my brushes every 2 weeks. But in my bathroom I have like a little container that I keep all of my most used brushes in, and just once every 2 weeks I'll take them out and wash them. So when I'm using these, I always just wipe them off on a clean washcloth and you're good to go. I mean, it gets all of the color off. So that is a great tip if you did not know. Okay. Now this I have completely wiped off, but I'm just going to take anything that may be unblended down here, and where I only have that creme brulee shade, I'm just going right over these edges where that yellow hits and just blending those two colors together. Alright, now I'm going to take my IBY crease brush, and you can see how tiny this one is. This is the one that I'm going to take my deepest, darkest color on and apply. So I'm going to go into Cafecito, and I'm going to apply that right to those outer edges over here, just to add a little bit more dimension and deepen that outer edge over there. Okay, now it looks a little crazy right this second. We are going to take care of that. This shade is not powdery at all. The only one so far that I've come across that was a little powdery was the Tropico orange color. And again, I mean, that's completely common in palettes. That does not bother me at all. You just have to make sure that you dust your brush off well. I kind of did apply a little bit too much of that color. I wish I wouldn't have applied that much, but these colors are super pigmented. So now I'm going to go back in with like my favorite brush ever. This brush is fantastic. Again, it's that Bean Gotche's smudge brush. I freaking love this brush. I featured it in my June 2018 favorites for a reason. I use this every single day. Okay, so where I have this little piece that's a little bit unblended, this will just, it's a natural bristle brush, and it's great for just picking up excess product, as well as just blending out anything that you don't want there. This takes care of. So I'm just going to lightly apply this just to that outer edge over here. Guys, do you see that? How it just blended that away? Ugh, So good, so good, so good. And I got all of these brushes, the Inspire, the IBY Beauty, as well as this Bean Daches brush. I got all of those in my Ipsy bag. I love my Ipsy bag specifically for the brushes that I get. It makes it so worth it. Alright guys, so that is the look that I'm going for right here. Just a nice kind of deep, smoky, natural-ish look. Like I didn't go for the crazy colors in this look. And I really like it. Once I get my eyelashes done, like my mascara and everything on, it'll really come together. I'm going to go ahead and do my lower lash line now. So I'm going to take that IBY, the one that we actually applied the dark brown with. I'm going to take that and I'm going to dip into Cocoa Taxi, which is that yellow shade again. And I'm going to apply that all over the bottom lash line. Out of all the matte shades, I would say this one is the one you kind of have to build up, which, you know, makes sense. It's the lightest one. I'm going to apply this all over. And this is always like the technique that I use with my lower lash line. So take the first color I start with, blend that all over. Sometimes I'll get crazy like I am today and apply 3 colors down there. So I'm going to take the flat, like packer side of that Anastasia brush, and I'm going to dip that into Tropico, that orange shade, and I'm going to apply that to about 2/3 of that lower lash line, just ending it a little before where we ended the first color that we applied. Oh my gosh guys, this shade is so pigmented. It's amazing. I'll put a little bit more on that other eye, so I'm just going to even it up. Okay. Now I'm going to take another brush that I got in my Ipsy bag, which is the Luxie Small Shader Brush, and I have completely wiped this off. It's a little stained from where I used it yesterday because I did, like I said, use those blues. I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to use the very tip of it, which is very, very soft. And I'm going to take that dark brown and I'm going to apply this as close as I can to my actual lash line. So I have to get a little bit close for this one. And I'm just keeping that more on like the very outer third of the eye. So we'll have a nice gradient. We'll have the dark brown into like the orange into the yellow. And this just adds so much more depth to the look. I love this technique. So good. And this brush is so nice as well. Okay. So this is the look. I am really happy with it. I'm going to go ahead and pop on my mascara and then I'll catch back up with you guys. Alright guys, I am back. I have completed my makeup. I just added a lip and I'm using the Model Co lip liner as well as the liquid lipstick from Anastasia in Ashton. So it really tied in well, I think, with the eye look. So again, I'll just give you a close-up of that. You can see how well these colors blend together. You can't tell, you know, where the yellow starts from the orange, from the brown. Like they just blend so well together. I'm so happy that I gave this palette another try because it is a winner, and for $28, I think that the quality that you're getting in this palette is phenomenal. You just need to make sure that you're using a good eyeshadow primer with it, because otherwise I do find that it will crease. But 28 bucks, good primer, you're good to go. If you guys have used this palette, I would love to know your thoughts and the color combinations that you used as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button. It really does help me. I hope you'll subscribe if you're not already, and until next time, bye guys.